Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
Hello and welcome to the programme. Thank you for downloading the Horse Show here on Wisp Sports. This is Season 5, Episode 12, and I'm Chris Stafford. And on this episode, we're going to be continuing our series of equestrian legends. But before we hear from this week's guest, a word from our sponsors. Summer is here. You don't want to miss that majestic summer sunset, perfect wave, or family picnic because you're stuck at home with ear pain. You can make a splash at that next beach party with Highlands homeopathic earache drops and tablets for natural relief or minor fever, ear pain, and throbbing associated with earaches. After you've been diagnosed by a physician, try Highlands homeopathic earache drops or tablets. Highlands has been trusted by generations to provide safe homeopathic medicines for everyone in your family. Earache drops are available at Walgreens. To learn more, go to highlands.com/ear. That's HYLANDS, highlands.com/ear. Claims are based on traditional homeopathic practice, not accepted medical evidence, not FDA evaluated. Always read and follow label directions. So my guest this week is record-breaking jockey Julie Krone, who fought literally and figuratively with fierce determination to establish her career in a male-dominated sport. Her accomplishments take a few minutes to read, with more than 21,000 starts and earnings in excess of $90 million. Julie was just a toddler when her mother set her in the saddle, and who knew then she would be destined to become a hero for aspiring female jockeys. Julie rode her first Kentucky Derby in 1991. That same year, she became the first woman to ride in the Belmont Stakes, the second jewel of the Triple Crown. In 1993, Julie became the first woman to drive home a Triple Crown winner. She retired in April of 1999 and in 2000 became the first female jockey to be enshrined in the National Thoroughbred Racing Hall of Fame. Julie reflects with pride, but doesn't dwell on her many achievements, which included being inducted into 4 Halls of Fame, among other numerous awards. Being a mother now is the most important thing to her. A teenage daughter is her priority today, and making time to give back to the sport with the Julie Krone Junior Jockey Camp, which she launched in 2019. In Julie's words, "I want this to be a lesson to all kids everywhere. If the stable gate is closed, climb the fence." We talk about parenting and her daughter Lorelei, who has very different interests to her, so won't be following in her mother's footsteps, and also the new interests that Julie has now that she's retired. And she also reveals for the first time her plan to get back into the sport. Julie, thank you for joining me, and especially at your time in the morning. But you're an early morning woman, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I'm on early. We would normally be deep into our walk now in the forest if I wasn't doing this. So yeah, I love to get up early and enjoy the day and start the day.
Well, I appreciate you starting the day with us.
My pleasure.
So life now, it takes on a very different dimension for you, isn't it? I think when I look at your bio on your Twitter, because I think they're always interesting how people describe themselves. And
Yeah.
you've got your list of Hall of Fames, of course, and then your Amelia Earhart Pioneering Award, thespian, spirit seeker, mum, and wife. Now, I'm guessing that those last two are probably the most important things to you these days.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh my goodness, I was just thinking about that this morning. I was thinking about what a journey it's been to be a mother and how blessed I was to have, like, not only my career, but then I also get to be doing like a suburban kind of life, and it's just really beautiful. And being a mom and seeing things through someone else's eyes and revisiting childhood memories, because Lorelei has moments that I'll say, oh, I remember when I did something similar to that or different. And it's just really fun, and it's all what life is, you know, people and family, and yep, it's been a pretty fun journey being a mom, that's for sure.
Yeah, and of course, we've just had Mother's Day as well. And that's a time you probably, like most of us, reflect on our relationship with our mother too. Does any of that translate to your parenting now, Julie?
Well, it's funny because I think the way I was raised is very different than the way that that Jay and I raised Lorelai. It was very, very different because it was my mom's style was kind of different in that she was really obsessed by horses. You know, my mom, like, that was the only thing she did. So whereas Lorelai and I do a lot of different things, like theater is our main thing, but we do other things too. We don't just do theater. But when I was growing up, the only thing my mom ever did was horses. And it was kind of like the only thing I was allowed to do. So like looking back at it, I guess maybe it was the reason why I was successful. But at the same time, I think there was some things I missed in my life that I wished I would have done a little more of. So my parenting is definitely different. I think there's moments that I think, oh, I did this when I was younger and it was the same. But Mother's Day made me think more like, I don't know. It's funny because I think as we advance in our personalities as humans, we find things that mean more. Like when I was younger, it was like competition and money and status and stuff like that. And now I feel I'm a little more like into my helping the community and being like a little less, I don't know, I just think I've just grown up and changed a lot. I'm not as competitive as I was. And even in my lifetime with my daughter, I've changed. Like when she was younger, I used to be like, try to get her to be real competitive in theater and stuff. And now I'm kind of like, she's having a good time. She has fun. Like, you don't have to be the main star all the time and stuff like that. So lots of life lessons and journey and going along. But all in all, it's a pretty beautiful, wonderful thing. That's true.
So did that mean that you felt that parental pressure then to succeed in a sport that your mother was passionate about?
Well, no, but I think it made me a little too competitive, like it was nothing. And then once you're not a jockey anymore, those kind of personality traits and things don't really serve you in the normal world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you had to change your personality. You can't be like a little scrappy fighter in a regular world. You have to you have to be a different personality almost. So I had to learn a lot of stuff. I used to think it was funny because I used to watch some of the moms and I used to see the stuff that they would do. And I'd like, if I'd see a lunch pail that had like a really cool lunch in it and like it looked nice, I was almost like competitive mothering, like, like, oh, I'm gonna get a cooler lunch pail for Lorelai. My lunch is gonna be better, like. So after a while, I was like, oh, I don't have to be a Hall of Fame and everything, I could just be normal sometimes,
Yeah, without the pressure. Now, has she picked up any of your childhood antics? Because you went from circus to gymnastics.
Oh no, she's so different than me. Oh my goodness, she is so different than me. First of all, she doesn't have any tomboy in her at all. She's very it's very easy for her to be like more feminine than I am and stuff like that. So we balance each other. That's good because we balance each other with that. Like I'll make her kind of tougher and more tomboy, and she'll make me more feminine and like doing our nails and our hair and stuff like that. But we're very, very different. She's really intellectual. Like this coronavirus lockdown thing has been so good for her. And her and I both, like, we have had such a good time in these intimate things. Like, she can play piano for hours. She can write songs and play music on her ukulele for hours. We homeschool, so we were really comfortable with, slipping into a different program. So that was easy for us. But we've had a really good time. She's very introverted and very different than me. Very, very different.
So where did the theater come from then?
Well, it was really crazy. We were riding horses one day. So I'm doing the same thing my mother did. We're riding horses. And I got Lorelai, little pony, and I think she was about 6. She was about 6 years old. And we're riding on the beach. and she's crying. And I'm like, and every day we would go to the barn and, take little trail rides places and get her on her pony. And then I'm on Miss Piggy, my little quarter horse I have. And we would take a little ride and she's crying one day. And I look back and I'm like, Lorelai, what's wrong? And she goes, I don't know, Mom, I got to tell you something. And I don't think you're going to be very happy. And I was like, well, what is it, babe? And she said, I don't like horses like you do. I want to go to the theater. I want to do something else. Right? So I was like, well, okay, baby, you don't have to, it's okay. It's fine. And then I looked forward. I was looking straight for a little while and I was kind of like, I was shocked. I was gobsmacked. I was just like, what do I do now? And she was kind of like, oh, Mom, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, but you got to give me a minute here. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my whole life. Like, she's in my belly and I'm making this pony for her. I'm training the pony. And so when it comes out, it'll be like the nicest little pony ever. So anyway, we end up, then there was a series of events that happened where my horses, I have 3 horses, a thoroughbred named Cannon, an X-race horse, a quarter horse pony named Miss Piggy, and then Lorelai's pony Fishy. And I sent all the horses to a place in New York called Long Shadows, and it's Long Shadows charitable foundation, and they do Gestalt therapy. And there's a girl there that works with the horses called Tabitha Morgan, and they rescue thoroughbreds and other horses from the area. And she also does training, like Tabitha Morgan trains too at this Long Shadows farm. So I just sent my horses there, like to work at the charity, and that it was like literally within a month, my horses were in New York, and I was starting life for the first time ever without direct contact with horses. And so then we saw a play that was, we drove by and I said, oh, there's a play. Let's go in and sign up for the play, right? Well, I didn't know, but it was The Sound of Music, and it was a big deal in the area because it was a 25-year anniversary or something. And I signed her up, and lo and behold, there she was, 4 months later on stage as Gretel in front of 2,000 people. And she steps out and she goes, Gretel! You know what I mean? Remember when he does the lineup and he's introducing them to Maria and all the kids step out? Remember that scene? Yeah.
Yes.
So she steps out and says, Gretel! And the crowd goes, aw! And I watched her go, bing! You know what I mean? Like, she was like, this is for me. She was like, and so then what happened is I was backstage because it's an adult play, and it was like a big deal. And I had to help her with quick changes. And she was so young, and she's the only little kid in the cast. So I had to kind of help. And when I found out what theater was about, being backstage and quick changes and all that, I was like, whoa, this is right up my alley. I was like, I loved it. I was just instantly like, where has this been all my life? So then what happened was, this is a really fun story. One of the directors, who's one of my favorite guys, his name is Miles. And he was directing, he's sitting there, he has his hand on his head, and he's in the audience area, sitting in the seats, and everyone's rehearsing and going around, and some people are moving some stuff on stage. And I'm like, what's wrong, Miles? He's like, this whole stage is wrong. That whole thing that's all brown, it's supposed to be a brick wall, like a castle wall. It was for Shrek. Because Lolo got the role to be little Fiona. Like, you know how they sing in a circle and the girls get older and older as they go around? Yeah, Lolo got picked to be little Fiona. So I was there picking her up from rehearsal, and I said, well, I could paint that to make that look like that. And he's like, you can? Well, I didn't know I could paint. Evidently, I picked up some artist talents along the way with my dad being an art teacher. And I painted that thing, and now I just do theater and stages, and I won costume awards and stuff like that. So I really enjoy theater. I enjoy every single bit of it. I enjoy when we're a little tiny person on the side, third tree on the right. I love it when we're the main characters. I love painting the stages. I love making costumes. I love the people. I love the energy with it. I just love everything about it.
So you've discovered a whole new side to Julie Krone you never knew was there.
Exactly. Yes.
That's awesome. And of course, Lorelai is now a teenager, which presents its own challenges. And, that is going to be an interesting few years for you too.
Yes, I think you're right. Sometimes it's funny. I go along, especially during this coronavirus lockdown thing, for being with somebody for over 9 weeks in an intimate, setting. It changes a little bit, and we got to have some really nice talks about like how do parents and teenagers grow apart, and like we started to get more in touch with like her individuality, and then needing time, knowing when both of us need time apart, and we can spend a tremendous amount of time together, which is kind of shocking, I guess. But also people need to be a little bit apart from each other, So we haven't had any, it's not the same like as my childhood. Like I wasn't slamming doors and saying, I hate you, and running away and stuff like that. She doesn't do any of that like I did.
Well, I was going to actually quote, if I may, there, Julie, a quote that I read about you from an article a while back said, a penchant for brawling, yet patient intelligence and tactical savvy. In describing you, where did the brawling come from?
Oh my gosh, I've always been like, my girlfriend and I used to go to the football games in school, and she used to go and want to watch the game and like get a boy to kiss or something, and I used to go on these fight posses, like literally, I swear to God, every Friday night at school. Like I'm in middle school, I should be outgrowing this by now. I joined up with the boys, and you go in wrestling matches with people, and I would just fight all night long, like, and beat everybody up, and like you take on one person, comes in, you beat them up, another one would come. It was hilarious. And I look back on it now, if I saw kids fighting now, I'd be like, stop fighting. But like nobody ever made us stop. Like everybody was just like, oh, they're fighting. It would be like, But yeah, I don't know what the heck that was about. Just like maybe the way I was raised, I was like kind of like rough on the edges a little bit, and just nobody ever was there to say, hey, don't do that. I guess I don't know.
Obviously, there was an anger there that needed to come out in some form.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, thank goodness I found something to do with it, right?
Right. You found a way of channeling all that energy. Did you ever consider being a stunt rider?
Oh, heck yeah. I wanted to do that so many times. So many times. I actually was pretty cool. It was weird. I had a couple really close things happen, like where I was almost in the circus. I almost was a stunt person. The those moments when if somebody was making a movie, you're like, oh, that was the moment she would have been a famous stunt person or something, But yes, I've always wanted to do that. I thought that was really cool. And I haven't excluded out of it yet to ever try to be Peter Pan someday too, okay?
Peter Pan, yeah, I could see you doing that, certainly in the theatre. You could design the costume, and you could, right?
All those flying dreams can come true, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kathy Rigby did that, right? Didn't Kathy Rigby do that?
I'm not
sure. Wasn't she the Peter Pan? Wasn't she the beautiful gymnast with the lovely little smile?
Could well have been. Your memory's better than mine.
Was one of the gymnasts, a gold medal gymnast, was Peter Pan on Broadway.
Now I'm going to have to look into that. Yeah, I mean, you've got the perfect combination there of circus, gymnastics, perfect combination there, Julie.
The perfect combo. Yeah, and people that do stunts, they make money too,
Well, they do, but you've probably got enough broken bones for a lifetime, Yeah,
I'm too old now. My right ankle doesn't bend at all, so yeah.
But you managed to go out and exercise on these, especially now with coronavirus?
All the time. Yes, I do. And you know what's crazy about that? If I don't walk, I'll say limp. I limp pretty bad. But if I don't walk every day and get out, like it's really harder for me, like in 2 days to get up and get out. You know what I mean? Like it's worse if I don't move every day and if I don't do something.
You have to and that accident, of course, I'm sure it's scarred in your memory for life. That took a lot of metal to come back from that, Julie.
Literally. Okay, both things. I am literally scarred, and there was literally lots of metal in my body. The titanium, when they put the titanium plates in, did you know I had to have all that stuff removed? I got allergic to that stuff. I had to have like 40 screws and 6 plates and all taken out. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. How long after the accident did you have to have them removed?
Like about a year. It was funny. I woke up, I was riding every day, and I kept thinking at nighttime I would get the chills at nighttime, and I'd be like, well, that's really weird. But like every night, like every single night for like 2 months straight, I would lay down in bed and I'd be like, I feel like I have a fever. And I'd take my temperature and it'd be like 98.9 or like 100, and I'd wake up in the morning and it would be gone and I'd be totally fine. Drive from my farm in Colts Neck, New Jersey to Belmont, work, ride, come back. That night, it's the same thing again for like 2 months. And my body, I guess, was turning away the titanium and the stainless steel on the screws and the plates. And then my ankles started to get real swelled up, and my arm, the plate was in my arm, started to get real swelled up and hot, like burning hot. And then I woke up with a really bad fever one day, and then I went in and they were like, oh yeah, we have to take all this stuff out. It's like going crazy. And it grew over the top of it. Like it was like my body was trying to like cover it up almost. So when they went in there, they had to like chisel away bone that was actually like growing on top of the plate, like trying to eat, like, destroy. I don't know what your body does, but so that was pretty, like, to get over that was like about 2 months. But wow, did I feel good when I woke up. I was like, oh, I felt so much better because I could feel it right away. As soon as I woke up, I was like, now I feel my body back again. So yeah, it took a lot. Then what actually happened, which was funny, my one spill that I had at Saratoga wasn't the spill that was bad. The spill that was bad for me was the one when Jonathan Shepard's horse broke down at Gulfstream Park with me on Friday the 13th. And it was 13 days into the new year of January, and I was leading rider in the nation. Races won. I was leading rider at Gulfstream. And that horse fell, and I broke both my hands.
Oh, yes. Took all the weight on your hands, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And I put my hands, what I did was horse fell. She hurt both her front legs and fell. I put my hands, I balled up in a ball, and I wrapped my arms over my head. And when I was falling, I was spinning, and the horse was following me. And every time I went over the top of her on the way down, her head would hit me. And we spun like 3 times together. It was really, really traumatic and really grotesque, and just all the terrible things that you could ever imagine that you never want to experience. And it was like weird because once I felt my head get hit, I instinctively reached up with my hands. But my helmet is on, and so my hands were just in the way of my helmet. But who knows? Maybe I protected myself from a head injury, You don't know.
Instinct, isn't it?
Yeah, and so my hands were broken, and when and it was Friday the 13th, and it put a weirdness on it. That one jerked my soul a little bit. The other one, I had no problem coming back from. And then the second cumulative one, which is the nature of a human, like we can always withstand a couple things, but cumulative, you get a little tired after a while. That's when I had to address, PTSD and athletics and injuries and learning about how to recover from stuff like that, and more of a professional manner with a doctor helping me and stuff, because it was too challenging to try to do on my own.
So today then, do you feel you're in a really good place dealing with, all the memories and the scars?
Yeah, I do. It's funny because I think I went through some phases, like, there was a lot of anger involved with my ankle. Like I was really mad at Philbert Leon. Like all the time I'd be like, when he pulled out in front of me, I was like, I just like pulling my horse and steadying it, and boom, my horse falls. And so I would have like a direct anger at him sometimes, like where I can be specific about it. And you know what brought it back up again? When there's a jockey that rode at Gulfstream Park, and he's really reckless, and he caused an accident, and a jockey got hurt, and that really bothered me because that's how I got hurt, and it kind of like dredged up my feelings of people being, when you don't ride properly on the racetrack, you like impede someone and cause them to be hurt and stuff, That was something that brought that back up with me. And then I came across a girl that I hadn't seen for like 30 years, and I was at Delaware Park riding, and I had a horse that lugged in really bad with me, and I could have done a little more. I was reckless and caused an accident. She fell, and I ran into her the other day, like about 6 months ago, and she told me that her life she was so messed up from me dropping her that day. She told me about all the stories that happened to her. and how poverty, and then her mom got sick. Oh my God, it was just, I caused her so much trouble. And for some reason, when she told me about that, it made me not be as mad, and it made me realize, well, I was out there too, you know, like I put myself in that position. So I don't know, maybe it was to help me get even heal more, you know, and forgiveness is a huge part of life, and you just go on with it, and you just, the more I'm living, the more I'm noticing, oh my gosh, that book, that little book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, is so true.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta just keep going, and oh my God, and thank God I have a personality that's a little bit like that. I don't have to really try that hard. But I was a little mad, and it took a while, but so funny that you should ask that. Just this year, I'm probably really getting more comfortable with forgiveness and letting it go even more, you know. So look how much time it's been. It's a long time.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there, but you know, it was 1995. I remember you actually wrote your autobiography, Riding for My Life, and judging from what you've been saying about how now being a mother, parenting, and you've learned new skills and new interests now. Do you think there's much more of a story to tell that you need to do a sequel to that?
Yeah, isn't it always? I mean, I think one of my favorite answers when somebody says, "Oh, what was your favorite thing, or what was your best meal, or what was your best moment?" And I kind of think I'd like to think we haven't had them all yet, right? There's a lot of stuff coming still, and I have a neat thing I'm doing this summer. This is the first public time I'm telling someone about this, so I think that's kind of cool.
Very cool. Thank you.
There's a little girl jockey. Oh my God, I sound so misogynist, and I'm a girl myself. That's hilarious. There's this woman, this very intelligent, strong, powerful woman named Farron Peterson. Okay, her intelligence will never be at question because she graduated from UC Davis veterinarian school last year, and right now is completing her acupuncture school. She's an apprentice jockey. And I met her at Del Mar last year, and I asked her to stop being an apprentice jockey. And I asked her to come and live with me at my house with Jay and Lorelai, and she's been part of our family. And we hung out and did racehorse stuff. We talked about racehorses, watched videos, worked out on the equicizer. She was galloping horses for different people at Santa Anita. Like, she would drive to Santa Anita and breeze horses for everybody. Everybody loves her. She was riding for everybody in the mornings. And she just went to Monmouth Park, and she's galloping horses for Patrick McBurney, who was John Forbes's shed row foreman when I was a baby jockey. And she's living with my best friend Kathy Clark in New Jersey, right by Monmouth Park. And me and Lorelai are going in 40 days to New Jersey. Well, you know, barring God willing and the coronavirus creeks don't rise. That's like always in the back. We're leaving in about 30 days to go to Monmouth. Lorelai was going to go to a theater camp, but it canceled. But she's still going to go just because it's more fun and hang out with us for 30 days and then come back before school. But anyway, you know, our summer was going to be theater, going to New York City for theater, and me being her agent at Monmouth Park. I'm going to get back in the racing game and go back to, and I'm going to be an agent. Well,
good for you. There's a full circle.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I really love her too. I love her. She is the most, oh my gosh, she's the most lovely person. Just so strong and so fun, and comes from a really nice little family. She has 3 sisters and normal dad and mom, like just so refreshing of a person. Just absolutely. I'm just so looking forward to spending time with her. And when I met her, it was funny. I want her to be successful. Like, there's something in me that just our chemistry, the way we like, kind of like sisters or friends, or I don't know, it was just funny. I was just like, oh, I want this girl to be successful. Like, you know, like, and that's such a beautiful, natural thing to have, you know, to be driven from inside, from a spark that you kind of like, where did that come from? And I was like, and I just, came up with it. And I was like, I told Jay, and Jay and I started talking about it. And I said, I'm going to be a jockey's agent for this girl. And Jay's like, that's a great idea.
Well, you went for a long while, many years, from being obviously a toddler to when your mother put you in the saddle, to actually becoming a hero for aspiring female jockeys. That in itself is a journey and a story to be told. And nowadays, you've actually started a junior jockey camp as well, Julie. And didn't that kick off last year?
Oh, I love I'm so sad we can't do it this year. Oh my God. We have so many nice horses. We were even going to get them on a little gallop around the field. Oh my gosh. Jockey camp is so fun. Just what a great joy it was. And Frankie Lovato, he makes those equicizers, and what a great piece of equipment it is for jockeys and people in racing that want to, learn that skill of being a jockey is so hard. And just sharing with all those kids, I'm just crazy about jockey camp. I loved it so much. And it was really fun to call everybody in the racing community and be like, hey, would you sponsor one of my jockeys, and have everybody respond like racing is just such a beautiful sport and such a fun thing. And it's just, when you get to the good parts of it, it's just there's nothing like it, and when you see when those kids were at the farm and they were watching videos and, having the dreams to be a jockey and stuff, it was just like, that's just the best times ever.
Absolutely inspirational stuff. Now, these are teenage children, aren't they? Teenage youth. And are they underprivileged?
Oh, no, there can be underprivileged youth from the area mostly, but we ended up having, the sponsors were so good, we ended up having a couple kids come from other places, like one came from Georgia, one came from Oklahoma, and one came from Florida, and then the other ones were local kids that were, like you said, like underprivileged youth in the area that would never have an opportunity to be at camp, because it's just something they could never afford. So that was fun to sponsor all those kids. And Frankie Lovato has spent a long time on developing that program, and he just gave me all his books and all his equipment that he used, and it was just I kind of just took over his jockey camp. And then he came and he was teaching in the classroom. It was crazy because it was harder for me to teach, and then he came in the classroom and started lecturing, and I was just like, oh, he's so good at this. So it was really nice to have him visit. And this year we were going to have so much. We were going to do so many more things. It was going to be so good. But hopefully next year we'll be able to get jockey camp back up.
And where will you hold it next year then? It was the last year?
At the Long Shadows.
Yeah,
yep, at
in
Long Shadows Farm.
Yep.
Yep.
So you'll be going back there each time. Then that would be a permanent venue for it?
Well, I wouldn't mind going to other places too. Eventually we think it could be kind of like a little traveling thing. But we're trying to let it evolve and mature into whatever it wants to be, kind of. It's funny, you start out with an idea and then you go, oh, I could do it that way too,
Yeah. Well, you're obviously very innovative and keep coming up with ideas and reinventing yourself, as they say, and doing so many different things these days. Now, when racing is back on fully, apart from being now a newly fledged agent, what else will you be doing? Will you be doing your commentary?
I'm not, maybe at Monmouth. I have to see how they feel about, maybe that somebody will want me to go on a show or something, but I'm hoping I'm really busy, with a top apprentice jockey. That's what I'm hoping. So, it would be fun to have a little side gig doing a little TV, but I don't have to do TV. I don't have to do TV anymore. I used to kind of be I liked it and stuff. And I just don't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy. It's kind of funny. Once my ego kind of dropped off a little, once my ego dropped off a little and I evolved as a different person a little bit, it was kind of funny. I looked at my closet the other day, and our clothes, how some people traditionally will have fat pants and skinny pants, pants you can wear when, yeah. Well, it was funny when you just said that, because I was looking in my closet and I have a pair of shorts, and when I was looking at them, I was like, oh my God, those shorts are from the very first pair of Levi's I ever bought at Delaware Park from my apprentice, when I was an apprentice. And I cut them, and I have a pair of shorts. And then I started looking at the other clothes, and I was like, wow, that jacket, I wore that jacket when I won the Belmont that week. And I started going to the clothes, and because obviously the deep cleaning for Corona, everybody's been locked in their houses. So I'm getting to know like all my old, like you're throwing stuff out all the time. And I kept coming across clothes like, oh, this is when I broke my leg. Oh, this is when I was pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh, I had like 7 bodies. You know what I mean? Like all the bodies I've had. And I look at other people, I'm like, wow, they've never broke anything and they've never been pregnant. So I'm like, that they're just like, that's them. Their body has been like that the whole time. Like it never went through, any morphs or changes or anything.
Well, now, of course, as you said, with the lockdown, we're making new habits, new routines. What has this taught you, Julie? What changes have you made that you think you might keep now?
Oh, that's a really fun question. Well, I just love I always love that you got to get outside every day, And I think we've really mastered that more now. Being very, very ceremonial and religious about our walks, our early morning walks, and, bringing the day in the right way. And getting up early helps too, because it avoids that, puttering around at night thing and stuff, because you're tired. You've been up for a long time, So I think my good habits of getting up early and walking in the morning, I really like the habits of better communication, like more intimate talks with people, because things can be assumed even with people who are in families and stuff. You can try to guess what somebody's feeling, but it's a lot nicer to have a talk to the bottom of things.
Are you writing?
No, I don't like writing that much. I'm not that, but I'm a big reader. Oh my God, I read so much. Like Laura and I both, we put 2 hours aside in a day for reading, like definitely. We'll easily both of us sit down and read whatever. She's doing Dandelion Wine right now. And I read the New Yorker from cover to cover every 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something. So I have a lot of reading to do too. But yeah, we really, isn't that funny to think, like, do you read every day?
Yes, absolutely.
And what do you actually put time aside to enjoy?
Yes, and it's a discipline. I think I started last year of really making time for extended reading. That's really important.
I think that's really important. So yes, those 2 things. I totally agree with you. Yes, I like. We're definitely keeping our dedicated reading time, and we're definitely keeping our walks that we do, and more intimate conversations. Because it's hard to talk. It's hard to talk sometimes. It's hard to get to the bottom of things. It's not always comfortable and it's not always pleasant. But it's useful. Yes.
It's just as important to listen.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe listening better. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. Thank you for that. I'm talking that. Yeah. And it's not just listening and talking. It was communicating, like getting the getting the message across. Like a teenager doesn't have to be mad at you if they can communicate with you. You know what I mean? Like we never have to get to the point where we're like, I'm trying to hold her back from something that I feel is going to hurt her, but she's mad at me because I won't let her do it. Kind of like, how stupid is that? How does it get to the point of that, right? Where you're thinking, gosh, this is dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, it's making that time to be in the present, which I know is very much used these days, being in the present. But when you're listening, often when generally we are listening because we're always thinking about what the next thing we have to do, and we're also thinking about what is the next thing we're going to say instead of just listening to what the other person's saying.
Yeah. And we had, like I said, putting the time aside for reading and purposely. Oh, that's the 3 things are communicating, getting outside. Definitely the reading has been like so beneficial. And then the other thing is making the lists. And we even got to a point where we would like write down 6:30 to 7:30 walk, 7:30 to 8:30 private time reading or something. Like we literally wrote down our list of things we did. And that was really fun. That was nice too, to do that.
Very, very disciplined routine you've got there. And I'm thinking that, well, this speaks to your character, of course, Julie. And I'm wondering, with that focus now and the interest that you have picked up since you stopped riding, if you have anything else on your bucket list that you want to explore, or you're still discovering?
Let's see, what else would I I'm really excited about getting back to the racetrack. And I'm really excited that I'm with the group of people that I'm with the Pat McBurney and at Monmouth Park, and just my friend Kathy Clark lives there in New Jersey, and she's been my best friend for a long time, and we visit her a lot and stay at her house, you know? So it feels like almost like going home, kind of like so I'm really looking forward to that. Wait a minute, what was the other part you just said? That was funny, you said something and I distanced off.
Your bucket list.
Oh, the bucket list. Yeah. Just continue. You know, I got to get Lorelai behind the wheel. Like, she's 15. She's going to be driving soon. You know, it's like my bucket list is just to continue my meditation and being present and enjoying. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just there's so much joy and so much life can be so beautiful. I'm just like really enjoying myself. It's funny that you make somebody stop and ask a question like that. You make somebody stop and think about it. I'm sustained the way I am. I don't really have a screaming desire to be somewhere or do something that I'm not already doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Finally, before I let you go, because I know you're going to be going on your walk here in a minute, I'm cutting into your walk time.
Oh, that's totally fine.
What would be your message to young women and girls that are listening to this, who, you know, are so single-minded in their ambition, whatever sport that may be?
Oh, wow. Geez, somebody asked me this before, and I don't know why, but I get a little frustrated at this. And somebody asked. There was a lady who called. She had this beautiful book idea that she did the book too, and it's a magnificent book. But she asked me, she was like, "Oh, I'm doing this book, and it's going to be the things we tell our daughters. Like, what do you want your daughter to know, or whatever?" And I don't know why. It triggers something in me that makes me kind of like shut down almost. And I was listening to Russell Brand was talking the other day, and he was talking about someone asked him something, and he's like, "It makes me mad when people ask me that." And I'm like, oh my God, me too. So, but then he was describing why, like, you know, and I think it has to do with my failures. Like, I think if you're telling I made a lot of mistakes and I did a lot of really dumb things, like, you know, like drinking and smoking and treating my body bad and, like, you know, and still becoming successful. And so, you know, you can sit there after you're successful and say, oh, well, make lists every day and dedicate yourself to your physical prowess and hone your skills. You know, you can say all those things. But if you run into somebody that already has those desires that you could never talk, people who want to be jockeys, you could not talk them out of it. Like this girl, this Farron Peterson girl, she graduated vet school, and people that see her, they're like, oh, don't you want to just go be a veterinarian? Why do you want to be a jockey? You could never talk her out of being a jockey. This girl is so strong and so dedicated. And like normally people would get through vet school and couldn't wait to start their business. This girl put vet school in her wake so fast. Like her desire is so huge. Like there's nothing, using her as an example, there's nothing I can tell her that would make her more, like, crave her desire more, right? But what I can tell them is that they are going to come across some things where they're going to have to be the most dedicated and the most strong they've ever been in their life. And the winning and the achieving is easy when the adversity starts, you know, or you overcome injuries and stuff like that. I think that's where I would be more useful. But for just advice, like for people who are driven, you don't really have to tell them much, you know. You got to be there for them when that's not going well, and you can help them with those times. But I think when Russell Brand was talking about it, it made me think about it in a different way. It's like, oh, the reason I don't want to give them his advice is because they don't need inspiration, because they're already getting their claws into something and wanting it, right? But when adversity starts, like, I think it's funny because Farron, as an example, sometimes Farron does something and it would make me mad, and I could be like, I could conquer her and be like, well, here, like I could conquer her verbally or spar with her and win an argument or something. But I thought to myself, I don't want my jockey like that. I want my jockey to be a little tough little, you know what, you know? Like, I like her like that, a little sassy and a little, like, so I guess I would just be like, stay sassy, like, find out where that extra energy comes from, you know, and tap into that person that would go fight all night at a best football game. I don't know. Like, but most of the time when they have desire, you're not going to tell them much. But I will tell you, horsemanship. If you address your horsemanship, you will be successful with horses. But you know what I mean? So that's the main thing. Educate yourself and get as smart as you can with horses, with all different horsemanship. Don't be a horsemanship snob. And try to, you know, enjoy the good times. And I guess the main part is, I don't know, it's you're not your job. Like, I'm not Julie Krone, the jockey only, you know, and it took a long time to recreate a new person and feel comfortable with it. So I guess the advice is, I don't really have an advice for that stuff, I guess. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. I better come up with a better answer than that.
Well, you know what? Considering you didn't like the question, you gave me a fantastic answer, Julie. So thank you.
But, you know, it's not the question. You know what I mean? It's more like, why does
what it provoked. Yes.
Yeah, what it provokes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But like I said, Russell Brand made me laugh because I was like, me too. But then, like I said, it has nothing to do with it has to do with the blueprint isn't always what it appears to be, right?
Absolutely. That's so true.
Like, I wish I could go back and, like, not be, like, what would happen if I didn't ever get busted for smoking marijuana or, like, you know, like, little things like that. It's funny. I guess I wasn't going to be a Disney princess, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you did well without being the Disney princess, Julie.
Exactly. And I can be one now.
You did just fine. Absolutely. You still can do that. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
It's been really fun. Wait, let me go back to that thing. The love of horses and horsemanship is the answer. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be successful in racing, you have to know your stuff, man. You just have to be good at it.
Yeah, exactly. Educate yourself. Well, wonderful, Julie. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, getting back to your walk now and your routine. And thank you again for taking time to chat with me.
My pleasure.
And you can find the full list of Julie's accomplishments and milestones that are in the show notes accompanying this episode on the show page at wispsports.com. Just go to the Listen tab and drop down to the Horse Show. And you'll also find there a link to Julie's social media. Do follow us on social media at Wisp Sports, where you can post your comments and questions and suggestions for guests, not just on the Horse Show, but also on the other shows that we have here at Wisp Sports. Our thanks again to our sponsors, Highlands Earache Drops. You can find more about this and their other products by going to highlands.com/ear. And if you have a moment when you're on Apple Podcasts, do leave us a review or a rating. This helps us a great deal to stick out amongst the crowd now. There are so many choices here for podcasts. So we appreciate your support and helping us turn up the volume on women's sports. Goodbye for now.